There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, everyone. That is the voice of your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, and we are sailing off with the Yonkō Table into the Grand Line, but we are not in the blue sea anymore. We are venturing upwards into the stratosphere, into the white sea, the city of clouds. And of course, as you know, this is our Skypiea One Piece Chronicles episode. We're going to be talking about everything about Skypiea, the plot, the characters, the foreshadowing that was laid out in this arc, because there was quite a bit. That was used in Skypiea that was later implemented into the story. In fact, a lot earlier than many might think. But we're going to talk about all of that here. And of course, whatever you agree or disagree with, check out our Discord. Link to that in the description box down below, wherever you're listening to us on. Check out the Patreon, and you'll get access to the Discord, as little for $1. But anyways, with me as always is fellow Yonkō, GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, Skypiea. Did you skip Skypiea? Are you one of those fans?
No, I did not skip Skypiea. Remember, 4Kids ended right before Jaya and Skypiea, so there was a gap where I fell off, and then Cartoon Network brought it back. They started airing the Funimation, and I was back in it in Skypiea. And again, Skypiea is a good arc. It's a great arc. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good stuff in Skypiea, so I'm happy to be here to talk about it.
Likewise. And we will deep dive every element of this arc. But with us for the deep dive are Supernovas as well. And let's get into it. You mentioned the Funimation dub of One Piece. You're right. 4Kids ended off with Alabasta, so they didn't do Jaya or Skypiea or anything after Alabasta. This was an interesting point in One Piece dubbing history, because Funimation got the dubbing rights in 2006, 2007 ish.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And so they started airing the episodes that they did dub on Toonami, on the Toonami block around 2007 to 2008. They never finished Skypiea on Toonami.
Too dang long.
It was too long. They only aired, I think, 20-ish episodes, 30 episodes.
I know they got to Upper Yard, and that's it. I don't think they finished it.
What a crime.
It was a crime, because I looked it up beforehand. The last episode that aired on Toonami, so if you were watching Toonami to keep up with One Piece, the last episode you would have seen is the one where Usopp notices a ghostly figure.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
That was the last one. For American viewers, Australia and New Zealand still got the remainder of Skypiea dubbed on television throughout its run. We only got the first 20 episodes. That, I don't know. I just remember it because I remember occasionally tuning into Toonami, even though I wasn't watching it. I noticed One Piece was going on, Naruto, and I remember in One Piece they were with these characters with wings on their backs, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Did they die? Are they in heaven? I don't know. I'm not caught up. I have no idea. But I guess overall, what do you think about this arc of Skypiea? Because for the longest time, it's been viewed as somewhat of the black sheep in the One Piece, I guess, arc timeline. I feel like it's been looked at more fairly in recent years compared to,
especially this year.
Especially this year, very, very much so this year. But I've always liked this arc. It was a cool arc to go into the sky. It wasn't detached from the rest of the story, yeah, to a degree. They're away from the ocean. They're away from the world that they're from. And they kind of adapt to the society above the clouds, and then they come crashing down at the end.
I'm going to call you out right now. Right now, Dr. Jace. Because you literally said that you didn't like this. Like you didn't care for this arc too much.
I thought it was fine. No, I like this arc.
Someone said it, but my memory serves me right.
I know who it was. It was Toasty. Toasty was crapping on this arc.
You're right.
Yeah,
he was?
Yes, he was.
Oh boy.
He was saying Skypiea mid. I'm like, okay, Toasty. Okay.
But Toasty's going back in and reading it while we're doing these episodes. So maybe he'll get a more favorable view. Like let me tell you,
tell us yours, Nino. Yeah, tell us yours.
When I was first watching the anime, and I skipped all the filler. So
okay,
like
that's fair. That's fine.
It was very. I didn't skip any of the filler in Alabasta though, because that filler was actually good. But when you're going into Alabasta, it's such a huge endeavor, because it's the end of a saga. It was the end really of the first big saga, because we knew about Mr. Zero, Crocodile from the very beginning, since like Whiskey Pete, and it felt like this long journey finally came to an end. And you can kind of when you learn that Oda originally wanted to end it in Alabasta.
That is true.
It makes sense. Everything gears up for an ending where the ending is just, and then they sailed on forever and ever, but Skypiea and Jaya seemed a little exhausting to get through, just because Alabasta was such a big arc to undertake. So when I was first watching this, I was like, I'm so exhausted from going through Alabasta that I'm not giving this a fair shake. Jaya still had like some really interesting parts, but some ridiculous parts with the monkeys, and then Skypiea was this whole thing. It really did feel like this was like not a side story, because a lot of the as we come to learn, a lot of the elements of Skypiea are popping up in One Piece all over the place, and
they are.
I feel like as I keep going back to it, and as I'm developing, once I got into the new world in my reading, I think I started appreciating Skypiea more for what it did.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely fair, because you mentioned how you're right. At one point, Oda was gearing up for Alabasta to be like the ending of the story, and knowing Skypiea in that context, you look at what Oda introduces into the story, like for example, Mantra, right? You can tell, knowing Alabasta was supposed to be the end, you could see him experimenting with new things, saying, okay, well, if that was originally going to be my ending, what else can I start introducing into the story, but still have it make sense in a way? And Skypiea is the perfect place. It's a testing ground separated from the rest of the world, and he's just going to try different things. Whatever works, and he'll try and implement it into the series later on, which he clearly does with Mantra. But I like Skypiea. I liked it back in the day when it was the unpopular opinion to like it. You know why I liked it? I liked Enel. Eneru, or
yeah. What are we gonna call him?
Let me throw that out there. How have you guys heard of his pronunciation?
Well, again, it's
Enel.
I'm telling you,
Enel.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how I read it.
That's how it's read, but if you watch the dub, again, it's the L and the R. They're very similar sounds. So when you say, if you try to say Enel or Enel in a Japanese accent, it comes out as Eneru.
Eneru.
And so in the dub, they say Eneru.
Oh my! I mean, it's better than my pronunciation. As a kid, I used to call him Eneru. That's just how I saw it. Eneru.
I'm gonna for this podcast. I will be calling him Eneru, I guess, because that's what I just recently just watched to refresh. So
Well, I'm gonna say Enel. So
Eneru.
So where did we leave off last week, right? Straw Hats riding the knock up stream all the way up to the what is it they get knocked up to first? The White Sea or the White Sea?
The White Sea.
The White Sea. Okay.
Yeah, it's the first sea, and because then you get higher, the more white it gets when you get higher.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, Blackbeard left in his own muck, trying to capture the Straw Hats. What was it that the raft that Ethan loves so much? How it's designed?
No.
Why are they so ugly?
They are the most unappealing crew, so they deserve to get left behind.
It was fine. So they get left behind to deal with their shenanigans in the Blue Sea, and now we're set off in an adventure into the sky. The first person we meet in this area is, what's his name again? Ganfor, right? Ganfor.
Gonfall. Goodness.
No, in the manga they call him Ganfor.
Ganfor?
They call him Ganfor.
How do they spell it?
Ganfor.
Oh, that's terrible.
That
Fort. That's how you pronounce it though. Ganfor. Yeah.
No,
F-O-R-T,
they pronounce it Gonfall. They said
you watch the what? So do they say Zolo or Zoro?
They say in Funimation dub they call him Gonfall.
Who? That wasn't my question.
They call him Gonfall in the Japanese version.
Yeah, Gonfall. We're getting. I see. Okay.
I'm reading the Viz Media translations, and it's Ganfor
in
the Viz Media.
So yes, in manga, if you're reading the manga, they put Ganfor. But again, if you pronounce it with the Japanese accent, yes, and see it comes out because that R and that L for fall.
Yeah, and what do you call it? The Romanized name in Japanese. I'm looking on it right now. On the One Piece wiki, his name is Gonfall, but his name in Japanese is so there's different. Oh wait a minute, there's different official English names. Ganfor is in only the Viz and the Funimation simulcast, and then Ganfall is in Funimation, and then 4Kids
never aired.
Apparently has Gunfall.
It never aired. I think it was in one of the video games. That's why they had a name for it.
Okay. I'm about to say, is there lost episodes of
it's definitely one of the video games. But you're supposed to say, don't say Gan, say Gon. If you say Gonfor, I'll take Gonfor over Ganfor.
There's nothing wrong. Fine. Gonful. The Sky Knight.
The Sky Knight.
His little, what was it, Pierre?
Pierre, a bird that ate the horse fruit.
The Pegasus model, right? It's a Pegasus model.
No, it's because it's a bird. When it turns into a horse, it turns into a hybrid, so it becomes a Pegasus.
That's such an interesting. I think this is the first time, and I think we see it again in this lobby that we see we saw it in Alabasta. With the freaking
dog.
The dog.
No, not the dog. The gun that ate the dog fruit.
Yes, the gun that ate the dog fruit.
But you just see
stupidity.
I'm telling you,
really weird stuff. I mean, it. Oh man, there's so much I want to say, but we'll continue.
But we don't.
Yeah, I feel like that gun fruit. I think, or the dog fruit. I just think. I don't know. Whatever. The imagery. I feel like they were going somewhere with it, and it just the imagery of how a gun eats a fruit is.
Mark my words. When we get to Vegapunk, there's gonna be a reveal that you don't necessarily need to eat the fruit because the essence of the fruit is what makes it. You take out the essence and you put it into whatever you want.
I never thought about that, and that would make a lot of sense.
I'd rather believe that than a gun eating a fruit.
There's something called in One Piece. It's called inheritance factor or something factor.
Time out. I just like to say we're focusing on the dog who's not in this arc.
Just
like
but
the bird ate a horse fruit.
I guess the bird eating a horse fruit.
That's
fine.
normal. That's Chop. Same thing Chopper did. He ate another animal fruit.
That
but
is true.
Gunfall.
Oh, so suddenly humans are animals, Ethan.
What? I don't know what you're getting at.
Chopper ate the human fruit.
Yes. Chopper ate the human fruit. Humans are
The
creatures.
audacity.
They're animals in comparison. They also met another person when they first arrived before they met Gonfall. They didn't know. They met Wiper.
The gorilla.
The gorilla. Oh my! I don't like how they toss around the word gorilla for a dark-skinned character, but I digress. Yes, he is.
You know, it's fun. No, it's funny because in the manga's colorization of Wiper, he has like a more tan complexion. I don't know how much. I think he's a lot darker in the anime. Actually,
he's definitely like, I don't know who the lightest character is, but he's definitely dark. He's not.
So
he's
like Zoro, like you know how Zoro has like a tannish complexion a little bit.
Yes, he's darker than Zoro.
Darker than Zoro.
He's darker than. He's probably like same as Teach, kind of dark.
Well, Oda is basing his people off like Native Americans, like the indigenous tribes of like Turtle Island. So like.
It's a mixture because there's a mixture of skin colors in that tribe.
I mean, yes, but so are the tribes of Turtle Island.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. Either way, he's the gorilla. He's a gorilla. They don't know
guerrilla
who it
tactics.
is.
Guerrilla tactics.
Yes, gorilla. I get that. But
what are they trying to say?
The characters are like, it's a gorilla.
In the last arc, they had monkeys and a baboon. And now this arc, they have someone being called Gorilla.
Oh, no. No. The main character, the captain. Oh, it all connects. It all connects. Goodness gracious. Well, Gunfall the Sky Knight comes in to save the crew from apparently someone that they cannot handle. But there's a good reason why they can't handle Wiper. They're up in the sky. The air is more thin. Mm-hmm. I like that element. I saw it first in Dragon Ball, and it's just cool to see that Oda's paying attention to the little things, right? They would be a little bit more tired out into the sky. But then they kind of just, I think even Luffy and Zoro, they're like, oh, was that why? Okay, let me just hit my chest. And he's like, okay, I think I adapted now. We're good. And I think Nami says, that's not how it works. What do you
But they were fine.
They were fine. They were fine. So we get introduced to these characters. Gonfall gives them like what a sky whistle to call for help.
If you're ever in danger, I will come to your aid.
Exactly. So he seems like a nice guy, somewhat of a nice welcome into Skypiea, but then we get introduced to the toll road, right? I forgot this character's name. It really doesn't matter, but she's like the gatekeeper.
You call her the gatekeeper. The toll lady. She's the toll lady.
The old hag that was like, you're a criminal.
Well, she didn't.
You have to pay the fine.
Well, she didn't. She didn't say they were criminals. She basically said, because what the cost was 1 billion berries.
It was like 1 billion per person.
Right. So she's like 7 billion, and it's like, they said they'll be fined, but not criminals. So, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. One Piece is a comedy. It's really funny.
It is. It's just that, and the thing is, she played word games with them. She said, "I'm not going to stop you. You don't have to pay the fine if you don't want to, but then God's judgment will come." And of course, she says that once they're out of earshot distance, so that they can't hear that. So they ride the stream up to the White Sea, and they meet two important characters in the story. Conus and Pagaya. Papaya.
Yes.
No, Pagaya.
I said like papaya, like a papaya.
Yes,
And you know what? With Conus, you could tell that Oda is really trying to tease. Oh, these people might be joining the crew.
Goodness, no,
You felt
kid.
that?
Nino, I never thought that.
No,
It never gave. We're about to join the crew. Ever.
You know, both Conus and Pagaya were gonna.
No, not Pagaya.
Who was the other? Who was the other one you said you thought was gonna join the crew? You said someone before, and we were all like, "No, nobody thought that."
Either way, but it's just funny how, what do you call it? Oda, to me at least, because we had Vivi in like the previous saga, and because Conus was like following the crew around. Conus is the daughter, right?
Yes, Conus is the daughter.
And because she meshed well with the entire crew, Sanji was like, being like, oh my god, you're a woman that's close
with
to me.
Every woman he's with.
Yeah, it just gave off the feeling of, oh, this person fills the conveniently teenage girl shaped hole that Vivi left in the crew. And to me,
what
I was
is
just
she
like,
contributing?
but that's the thing. That's like, look at the first 5 like Straw Hats, and they're all like young teenagers,
But they all have a role that they were gonna add to the crew.
Okay,
could
but
have
we
been
know
the
that
musician.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
I guess she
yeah.
was. She played the harp. Okay.
But I never thought she would join the crew. Not in the slightest.
To me, it was just like Oda being like, "Ooh, this person can join the crew."
Vivi
And
had
then,
to
like-
stay, but
And then like,
here's
yeah,
Conus.
to me that's what it was. And then when you look at everyone else who joins, they are so far from the stereotypical Straw Hats, or at least the first 5, which is interesting at least.
I can't say I thought she was gonna join the crew, but I liked what their characters were for the most part in this arc. They were just simple folks that lived on Skypiea, wanted to live their day-to-day life.
And they were kind to them.
Kind. What? Why do you use air quotes with that? What do you mean kind? Air quote.
Well, actually, their kindness stemmed from fear for their lives.
Because of what? God's judgment? The Kame's judgment?
Kame's judgment, God's judgment, because they're criminals. They didn't pay the toll. So
They did
The
not.
pirates.
anybody aiding and abetting them will unleash God's judgment.
And it's interesting that Oda did that from the get-go, because this is a new world outside of the Blue Sea where they're recognized as pirates. So if they ever get seen in the public eye, people are going to chase them and, try and get rid of them. But if you're in a new territory that really doesn't deal with pirates at all, it's like, okay, well, why are you going to chase these characters around if they haven't done anything wrong? Then he introduces the toll road, and that's his way of having the Straw Hats somewhat be I guess illegal in Skypiea. They're not supposed to be there.
Yeah. And here's another question I have about how Skypiea works, because there are like islands, like it's like a staircase, right?
Right.
And how would they get to those other islands? How would
White
they
Sea.
get to Skypiea?
That tech that they had, the
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 dials.
dials.
Yeah, the dials. Yeah.
But remember when they first meet Ganfall, they're like, he's like, you should have gotten a lot of equipment and treasure from the previous islands, and they're like, we just
rode the knock
appeared.
upstream. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't know they
because
were
because
Blue
they,
Sea people.
they illegally got up there.
They were supposed to be there.
So how would they get to the other islands at the bottom of this staircase to get to Skypiea? That's my question.
It's
But
an
that's-
ocean. It's a white sea.
How is there a place where the white sea and the blue sea move or meet?
No, 'cause
the
in the
the
sky.
knock-up stream is the only way you can get up there. Unless
supposedly
fight
there's
other-
another
Kaido.
way.
there
There's
is another way, but like the knock 'em stream is the main way,
Or if you're Kaido
Or
and can fly.
the most dangerous way. It's the most dangerous way.
the most dangerous.
because
way.
because that's what Gonfor was saying when he met them. He was like, "Wait, so you guys took the knock up stream to get here? That's the most dangerous
Crazy.
way to
Like,
get
he was
here."
like, you're crazy. Like,
Yeah, and it was like, "Well, what the hell were the other ways? You guys live in the sky." So I never looked up what the other alternative ways were. But I mean,
but we have met characters from other islands.
from other islands, right?
Well, I mean, in the future,
Sky Islands, yeah.
other Sky Islands, yes.
But what I like that Oda did in this arc is, you don't really see it a lot in the previous arcs too much because everything's kind of connected in one world. But this is an entirely new alien planet, so to speak. So he kind of introduces a new technology that's kind of cool. It's the dials. The dials are really, really cool little gimmicks. You have they basically function as everything that they do with their society. They got the impact dial. What is it? You like punch it.
Well, impact dial. You receive a blow. You receive an impact it back.
That's called. They found a way to replicate armament hockey.
You think that was armament hockey?
Well,
Oh, I'm saying they found a way to replicate it in technology.
well, that, or I also took it as dials are a good way to combat devil fruits because there's there's versatility amongst the dials. Like you have a flame dial that can breathe fire, or a heat dial that can heat up objects to the point they're on fire. The breath dial, which can accelerate your speed.
Right.
They definitely can now kind of go toe to toe with some devil fruits. So, and we will see later how a dial can go against devil fruits. No, I'm not talking about this arc. Foreshadow.
Foreshadow.
Yeah, foreshadow.
Interesting. Don't forget it.
Dials are great.
They
but also,
are really cool.
you have the clouds. There are different clouds.
Different clouds.
You don't remember they can use different clouds.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. So there's like a milky cloud that makes a stream.
Oh,
for
okay,
you.
okay. Now I got it. Right.
There is a steel cloud which can basically
The barbed wire.
right, and it could
yeah.
and then it hardens and whatnot.
Cloud sword.
Yeah, exactly. So here he is. He made a whole new world that could have been a whole nother anime, and he's
Actually,
like,
yeah, it really could have.
yeah. And he said,
I
let's
think
throw
about it.
Luffy and the gang in there and see what they do.
Maybe you can explain this bit. You know how the Skypeans they have wings on their back that seem to be
Yes.
like an evolutionary trait
Mhm.
that they just, I guess, got in the sky. How did the Shandians get their wings?
Okay,
Because
I thought
they
about
had-
that too. They do.
Okay,
they
it was in
did.
the okay.
They had it before. Yes, they had it before they were knocked up.
They had it before they were knocked out.
They
Before
did.
they were knocked
did. I didn't know that either. I was like, oh, I get it. They
Is it an
kinda-
oversight or?
Well, I was like, they must have inbreeded with Skypians to have now the newer generation of Shandians have wings, but they always had wings too.
right. No,
But-
they did.
okay. So I think that when you have a question about a certain race in One Piece, the answer is always aliens. Surprisingly, so they're just aliens. They
Well,
come literally
Just
from another world.
aliens.
You can also maybe think that there were probably more islands around Jaya before Jaya was sent up, and they just
The knockup stream.
all those islands had inhabitants with wings. You can think about it like that. But wait, who are the
headcanon.
Shandians? You said Shandians. Who are they?
Is that not the indigenous tribe?
I know, but like you haven't mentioned.
Oh,
them yet,
I thought you were
so-
asking. I thought it was a pronunciation thing. Like,
No,
oh my
no,
god,
no.
in the dub of One Piece, they're called the Shandonians.
Well, I believe they should be called Shandorians, not. Well, actually, oh my gosh. In the dub, it's spelled Shandians, but they call them Shandorians. It's confusing.
Goodness gracious. I mean, okay, so let's lead into that, right? So Conus kind of betrays the Straw Hats a little bit. She calls the Express lobster.
The
which is
lobster.
It was a lobster. That's what it is.
Lobster.
It's very funny.
Takes
We all laugh.
takes the Straw Hat ship and takes it all the way to the sacrificial altar in Upper Yard and puts it right there. So it kind of splits up the Straw Hats a little bit. But that goes to show that there's a separate segment in Skypiea, as a whole, that is physical, soil.
Yes.
So then you start asking questions like, well, wait a minute, how are there trees and earth growing up here in the sky? And I think Oda plays up a pretty neat mystery with this, and it's tied to the Shandians. They are the indigenous tribe of Upper Yard, and they've been in this endless civil war for 400 years. God, it's 4 centuries, man. 4 centuries.
Longer than freaking Avatar, yes.
Like what? Like, oh my God. It's 4 centuries long war with the Skypeans, essentially, fighting against Kame. And that's because Kame and the people of Skypiea, they view the earth as
The
Verth.
You see, in the Viz Media translation, they call it Vars.
Oh no, man.
I'm telling you, I called it Vars.
It's Verth. Oh my God.
Go ahead, look it up. Look it up.
I know. I believe you. That's just
I'm
annoying.
looking it up.
They do some
But
weird
I see
translations.
it. I see it. It
Vars,
says farce.
yes.
Yeah.
I always thought you guys calling it Verth.
Varsa.
That's my first time hearing it. But now that I know about those L and R things that they keep intertwining with One Piece, Verth, like I see it.
Yes.
But they view it as sacred. They don't get a
Sacred.
lot of that.
A gift
there.
from God.
A gift from God, the Kami. And literally, well, we can get into the flashback later, but it's a thing that we've seen as soon as the Verth or the Vars, whatever, came on to Skypiea. As soon as it came on, the Kami was like, bro, we taking this. But sir, there are people there. Kill them all. Kill them. Annihilate them.
Yes.
Who cares? So right there, you already have a bit of a civil war. And honestly, I think that's Oda kind of drawing inspiration from, real life events that happen, like during the whole North American conquest, or not even North American, just the American conquest.
There's many allegories parallels that you can make. The Skypeans view it as their holy land. It's a gift from God. The Shandorians, that's their sacred land. That's like the whole Jerusalem and Israeli conflict going on.
Ooh.
And just so that we keep it 100% real here, since you brought that up, free Palestine. Anyway.
But
I thought you were gonna go.
it's there. It's the allegories cannot be missed, and it's also one part colonization too. They're like, Shandians, get in line. This is our land now.
Yes, it's just interesting. It really is more of a American empire, kind of parallel, because the specific of the indigenous, like the imagery is very like that of indigenous cultures in like Turtle Island. The technology that the Skypeans use are very advanced, and it seems to like outclass like
100%.
the Shandians, and it kind of there's just this element also of like when I remember when I was watching it, and it was the society was very modern, very up to date, like, and they all kind of knew what was going on, but were actively not doing anything about it. So it was very like, oh, this is still relevant even today, even though this was written like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. No, 100% it is. I mean, even the people that are active, like, the Skypean soldiers, they're basically using the word of God, the word of Kame, as their reasoning to, purge the indigenous people of Shandoria and claim that land for their own. So I could definitely see the parallels with like American colonization and just the indigenous tribes by themselves too. It's Oda's got layers to Skypiea. Skypiea was always great.
And it's just really interesting because the land itself is the Shandians, like, and the Skypiea, even though they were displaced while having their land like right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something that like a lot of native communities unfortunately face on this side of the, what do you call it, on this side of the globe, on this side of the
hemisphere,
the prime meridian, you know. And it was just a really good way to visualize it, that literally your land, that your family, that your ancestors were born on, were, had lives on, like, that you honestly have a claim to, it's literally right in front of you, but other people are saying, no, that's not yours anymore.
Still going off your point, I just realized the Shandians, as they're displaced, they're living under the White Sea. They're not even like on the same level as the Skypeans. They're underground. They're hiding. They're in like the slums, essentially.
Yes.
Right.
So a lot of
storytelling. Yeah. Storytelling.
Yeah. Skypiea it's got a lot of layers to it.
You could say it's like an onion.
You could
to a
say
degree.
That.
And it's funny because even going into the mythos of it, the Straw Hats want to come here because they're looking for the lost city of gold, El Dorado, which is freaking amazing because that's literally what was one of the main factors with colonization. They were always hunting for those lost relics. You got Fountain of Youth, you got City of Gold. That was what they were pushing into those pieces of land for. So I really like how Oda, once again, taking in real world elements, putting into his story, but still having it make sense. This all fits within the context of One Piece. But when you apply it to like outside world, like it relates. It's great.
There is some critiques, but I think we'll get to that when we get to the flashback section. Like there's some critiques that I have. Just because
I already know what they
but anyway,
so Straw Hats, they get split up. You got, once they get to the sacrificial altar, not everyone was on the on the ship?
No, it's Zoro, Nami,
okay,
Robin, and Chopper are on the ship. Okay. Usopp, Luffy, and Sanji were not on the ship at the time.
So their goal is to try and find the ship then. And that's where they go on the ball challenge.
Well, before that, God's judgment does come down on them. And
who did it come down on first?
On Conus, because Conus revealed the betrayal first. Because they were like, "Where are our friends?" And she's like, "I'm sorry, y'all have been so kind."
But when that happened, God's judgment, I was like, "Yo, what the?" Did someone
die?
Well, because everybody knew, and it was crazy too. Because again, you say it is kind of like a mystery of what's going on here. All she did was speak, right? And then this light from the sky comes, and also everybody knew she was like fucked.
and here's another great parallel, because in modern American society, we have a huge issue with surveillance, and even like the people that like live in better off than like the people in slums in America right now are being surveilled by like the fascist police state that we are currently living in. So like no one can even have like an ounce of free will if it's against the state. They'll get everything, like just like the same thing that happened with Snowden, like because of the Patriot Act, all the way back in 2001 or 2001, 2003, whatever. Like we lost so much of our privacy, and mantra was a great way to like visualize it. This moment, I was just like, they're being surveilled, like they're being watched. Like not only are they perpetrators, but they're also like in a sense, they're also victims. And then to my next point, Enel is Donald Trump.
He's a lot of things. He could be a lot of things, but
he's a badass Donald Trump. I mean, L4. Well, I guess that's my translation. L4. We'll get into the techniques later.
I wanted to dial back to that because they are rescued by the Sky Knight, not through the whistle. He's actively out here trying to, save people from.
Wait, who's rescued by the
Conus and
Conus, right.
Were rescued, right. And in that moment, because then they part ways, and Luffy and Sanji and Usopp go to the ordeal, but she calls Gonfall. She says, "Why haven't you come back, Kame? God, why are you the Sky Knight? Why are you calling him God?"
Could it be that the Kami, the name of God, is just a title and not an entity? Ooh, so that means who's the one bringing down judgment?
But the reason why they use God as a title is just ties back into, I think the whole of One Piece, where the greatest source of authority, which we'll call God, in philosophical terms, they are up against the greatest form of authority, and that's why God was the name.
Oh my God,
it has to be so blatantly clear. Oda was look, they're going against God.
I never made that comparison before. They're literally the Navy in their world. They're the highest form of authority.
But you could also, it's a symbolism. They're in the sky. The inhabitants all have angel wings. They're getting close to God. So symbolism wise, their highest power, they call them God, while it is just a title. So it works.
What is more frightening? When people think of God, what is more frightening than lightning? That was one of the reasons, one of the natural things. Yeah.
Thunder. I was gonna say thunder.
Thunder is the sound of lightning. So
ka-chow.
Whatever. But the ordeal of balls, because again, more symbolism. So the express lobster, they're supposed to be sacrificed.
Right.
But the main lieutenants of God are the priest.
They call them the priests.
They call them priests.
They call them vassals in the It's like I am telling you, I'm practically reading a separate story. They are in the Viz Media translation. They are called the Kami's vassals. They are the vassals of the Kami, vassals of God. So you're in your version, they're called the priests.
They're called priests.
You know what? I understand why they would change that, because there's a lot of references to biblical terms with the stuff that you're saying. Viz tries to play it a little safe and try to remove those biblical terms a lot. So for example, we keep calling it God's judgment. I knew it as God's judgment, that beam of light that comes down from the sky.
Yes.
He doesn't call it God's judgment.
No, they don't? What they call it?
Not. L4.
Well, he has a move called L4.
Oh, he does? Wait, I thought it was called something different.
He has moves for every single lightning god in any religion or mythology.
But L4 is not the beam of light?
Oh, maybe down? Thor is the beam of light, but the inhabitants call it
God's
judgment.
Yeah. Right.
But yes, they're called priests.
I think that's a culture thing, because obviously, in Asia and a lot of different places, they don't they don't know about God's judgment. They don't, that's not a part of their culture. So that I think that's the reason for the translation.
Well, I think it's more because, as Dr. Jace said, they're playing it safe because I believe the direct translation is priest, because that's what it says in the translation. Because when you read vassal, you read the word vassal in English.
Right.
Like,
well, it's because the definition of vassal, priests consider themselves God's vassal.
Right.
So that's a vassal would be a little bit more.
It's a safer term.
It's a not safe, but it's a more understood term through different languages and cultures and stuff. So it makes sense to use vassal and not priest, because not everybody has that.
No,
Vassal
but they say
gets
vassal in English though. They don't use.
Yeah, but vassal just gets to the point because vassal means like, oh, you have your lord.
Exactly.
And this is your subordinate. Priest kind of works in the same way because the Lord is literally God, but it's
I can see, I can see how vassal just is an easier translation to get the point across of they work for Kame. You know, that
they have a section of the Verth that they protect, you know.
I call it Vars. Why can't you call it Vars?
No, it's Verth. Vars is stupid.
We can't keep doing this.
Yeah. Oh my. This is terrible. This has never been this bad. It's probably because it is so religious.
I think that's why. I think that's why.
Apparently the 4Kids and Viz Media were retranslated it. The original word apparently is priest. That's what I was trying to say. But they changed it to vassals.
I mean, the whole Skypiea idea just sounds like the whole thing kind of, it was a good representation, like what you all said about just like history with like conquering and biblical terms and whatnot, but it does feel like a gag. And I mean, we're going to get to it. Obviously, like the last fight, but it feels like the whole thing is a gag, and it's like, haha, actually these are just bougie pirates in the sky. Like that's all they are. Yeah, because what it comes down to. It's like every other island we see later on that, you know, big people own, that they have, that is complete civilizations that have like whole economies and everything else going on. And it's the exact same thing. So I think it's I think it feels like a gag, because then they bring things, obviously the dolls, and you literally see the dolls for like episodes and episodes and episodes. Like before we even that's like the hockey version. Like that's like what we got right before like we really got into hockey, I would think. Like far as these were like the things that, you know, they really relied on for so long. So I mean, it does feel like, oh, I grabbed some stuff from heaven and it seems to be super overpowering, and like what Ethan said, like, oh, they take out devil fruits later on, like literally, it all like kind of seems like a, you know, just like Skypiea was supposed to just be a representation and have like all these innuendos, but for the most part it is a gag, I think, at the end of the day, because wow, the last fight, LOL.
I don't like the word gag. I don't like the word gag though. I would say it's theming. They're theming. Like the theme of this whole arc is religion.
And I think it's a gag. I think like it's funny. Like literally funny. It's so serious. It's so serious all the way up until the last fight. Like there's no way this like whole thing isn't a gag. Like
we'll get to the gag, because there's something with that gag that I didn't see coming. But there's a reason. No. From
we'll get to it.
A writer's perspective, it makes sense why I did not see it coming. But we'll get to that point. So what? Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp, they're trying to make their way back to the ship, right?
Yes.
So they have to go through the forest and upper yard, and they have to choose which challenge that they want to do, and they choose the ball challenge because it seems like the safest ball challenge. They go and do it, and what's the name of this guy? He's like round like a ball.
Satori. It's because he has brothers. It's either Satori or Hattori.
Big fat ball man.
Right. He's just a
big. It is Satori.
He's mochi. Satori. He looks like a big ball of mochi. Well, actually, no, there's Mochi later on. I'm jumping it. I'm jumping the gun. Enough with Mochi. He's a big round ball man, and they can't touch him. They can't touch him. Why? Because he's using his mantra. And what is mantra? What is it how do you call it? A precursor to?
No, it's not a precursor to it. Literally is hockey.
It is hockey.
From a writer's perspective, like, this is Oda clearly saying this is observational hockey. I ain't gonna call it that yet, but I'm gonna play around with it right now.
Yes, and basically, they can predict their opponent's moves. They can like read their energy, and it makes them nigh untouchable. Precursor to observation hockey, which it still works too, because later on in part 2 it makes sense that different lands or countries have different words for the same thing, or they approach them differently. So mantra is cool. I forget how they beat or overcome this first encounter with mantra.
I remember the finishing move.
They distract him. Like, they get him like so flustered that they were just like, haha.
And then Luffy wrapped him up, and
Sanji with the foot. But bam!
I think it's concussor.
I don't know what food it is, man.
Oh my God! Chris knows the food.
Go ahead, Kame. Chris, humor us. What's the name of the food?
It's not a food. It's a technique, a cooking technique.
Filet mignon.
No.
Wait, what food? What food?
Concussor. What is it? Concussor.
What's the name of the move that Sanji did to defeat Satori?
It's the move where he does a somersault in the air, then comes down on a kick,
like an axe kick. He kicks you with his heel. He brings it down with his heel.
I cannot remember.
I'm pretty sure it's concussor.
And I don't blame you, because
it doesn't matter. They beat him.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact move. But if I know the word, like the name of it, I could probably figure out like if it's like a food or something.
I'm pretty sure it's concussor.
It's a food. It's like a body part. Like, he's literally telling like whoever he's fighting against where he's gonna kick them.
Is that what it is?
Actually, it's not concussor. I don't know which one it is. Why are we getting caught up on the name of the move?
Because we get caught up on the name of Vars.
Sanji kicked him. Oh, so surprising. He always kicks.
But it's one of his vassals. They basically defeated one of his lieutenants.
They did. Then they didn't even know it. Like,
they did not. I find that hilarious. They did not know the importance of the person that they just beat.
They are not up to date. Yeah, Luffy and them know about God's judgment, but they're just going to go get their ship. They have no idea about this conflict with the Shandians and whatnot.
Exactly.
Right. So and again, I think that's part of the fun of Skypiea, is that they just kind of what's the word? Wandered into this conflict. And versus all of Alabasta was a clear-cut goal and a clear-cut end game of where they were going. This one, man, they're here for treasure, and now they're looking for their friends, and now they beat up this dude who they're like, you beat one of the priests? And they're like, yeah, the ball guy. Yeah, we did that.
Who was that?
Right.
I enjoy the humor in that.
Correct. Yeah.
But while that's happening, we have Chopper, Zoro, Nami, and Robin. They're kind of like managing the ship, and I think they leave Chopper by himself, right?
They do
to kind of guard the ship. But because they leave him alone, that's when this other guy, another vassal, comes into the fray. Goodness, what's his name?
Shura. The guy with the lance. The guy with the fire lance.
Right.
Yeah.
Shura.
He comes in, and I honestly like this sequence because they leave the whistle with Chopper, and they're like, only blow the whistle if you're in trouble. And so he's like walking around the ship, minding his own business. he sees this giant guy with a lance and a fire-breathing bird.
Yeah, right.
Just, I swear, the expressions Oda draws on these guys are hilarious. I felt the fear in Chopper. This man grabbed that whistle and he blew into it like his life depended on it, which is hilarious because it's like Chopper can fight, you know, he can.
But he hadn't fought up until like now, like in a fight that he was like his back was against the wall. He hadn't fought up until now, and even then, I don't think in this arc he really fights anybody.
He does.
We get to see
He
him
does.
fight in like a later arc.
He has a 1v1 here, and he wins.
And he has an arc with it too.
He does have an arc. We'll get there. But he did try. But he was being bested.
And what was happening? He was destroying the ship.
And that's why Chopper wasn't focused on the fight.
I don't know about you guys when you were initially reading Skypiea way back then, but on my reread for this episode, they really emphasize how badly damaged the Going Merry is. I never realized that before. This ship is about to fall apart. It's getting beaten up, destroyed, pieces getting bitten off, burned. You have this vassal. He's like, I think he burned the mast off. Like he burned the mast of the ship. It fell off.
Yes.
And you have characters like Usopp, like a little bit before this stuff started happening. He even acknowledges like, how the hell is the Mary still standing? Like, and again, great little nuggets that I appreciate more now because I know what's coming next in the next couple arcs, and I love it. It's established here, and you really get a feel for it. But Chopper calls in Gonfor. Gonfor comes in with the save. What is it, like a bird versus night type of battle?
Oh, they both
like
lose though.
battle?
They still lose. They both lose.
But he saves Chopper though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they both fall in the water, start drowning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're saved by South Birds.
The South Birds, the most
giant
important
South Birds.
Giant South Birds, right?
Because they too recognize Gonfall as Kame.
Exactly. And as they are having their sky battle, you have these other characters like Zoro's just going off, doing his own thing. Being Tarzan.
And wasn't there a dub where you just hear Zoro do the Tarzan scream?
Yes.
That's how I read it too. Like that's like when I read it, I'm like, he's making that noise. He has to be.
He does the Tarzan scream, and Nami's like nervous about swinging across, and she does, and she like doesn't do it great, and he's like, you should have done the scream.
The scream helps.
But Robin's on this quest because she's she's very much
she's archaeology.
She's archaeology of all things. She's really interested on how the Earth got there, but they all get back to the ship, and Luffy and the gang meet up. So now they're all back together, and now they kind of have a plan of what they're gonna do. But they have a party too with your image.
They have a party.
Most random of parties.
Not random until it's important.
This is influential. This is the party.
Wait, this party?
Yes.
No, it's not the party.
It is.
No, this is the party.
What do you mean the party?
Look at what he looks like.
Look at that image.
Stop.
Are you serious?
No.
Are you serious?
That's what the wolves.
They literally mentioned
That's what the wolves.
Yeah, this is the
end.
party with the wolves. They're partying with the wolves.
Yes, this is the party that people.
This is
are
the party that they were
referring to.
talking about. Yes,
It is
was
both.
Oda's episode.
It is both this image and the song that is
That's
playing
Luffy's
during this sequence.
That's the.
I don't know what you're talking. People are referring to this party for what's currently going on.
No, the manga referred to it. Are you kidding?
No, I'm talking about current manga
right now
referencing this chapter.
Yes.
That's
what
I mean,
I will drop a name.
say
I will drop a name, and that is the most I will. We'll get into it. this is a Joy Boy foreshadowing.
No, that's not Joy Boy.
No. I know it's not. It's not Joy Boy.
Okay. I see.
It's not
okay,
him.
I see what you're trying to do. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There are things that happen in this specific scene because again, the joke was always Skypiea is. You can skip Skypiea. Screw Skypiea. You don't have to watch Skypiea. It's its own thing. But then something happens fairly recently in the One Piece manga where people look back to this scene, this party that is had, and the music that plays in this party, and it's very particular. The kanji is very particular. Yes, exactly.
I mean, I believe you. I just didn't know this was a thing.
This is why people are jumping back on the whole Skypiea is significant.
Oh, see, I didn't know that's what y'all were referring to.
And this is technically Oda's third, as of September 3rd, 2020. This was Oda's third favorite scene in One Piece. But
and this is the party. We now know
the wolves. Yeah.
Oh man, this is important. And then we always sleep on Foxy Pirates because it's lame until it isn't. Until Oda brings back Foxy Pirate. I'm jumping ahead. Foxy Pirates is next week, but this scene is important. It's really big. Luffy having a party with the wolves, the way he's shaped, the whole kanji and the songs that's playing in the background, heavy foreshadowing of what we get of what's occurring in the manga right now. So they throw this extravagant party and then they're like, all right, let's go venture out and find out let's get the gold. That's what we're here for. We don't care about this mini civil war that's going on. We just want gold. We are pirates. And I like how everyone just gets lost.
Well, they did discover though that upper yard is Jaya. It's the missing.
It's Jaya. It's the skull's right eye.
The skull's right eye, yeah.
Exactly. It got blasted up.
And wait, are you telling me that there's a skull in the ocean that's important? Just like Onigashima.
Oh, it is shaped like a skull as well. Interesting.
Oh, got it. Oh, okay.
It is.
Okay.
So, but the crew sets off. You got like what Grandmaster was saying, Nico's archaeologing, his words. And but like this is the first time we get to see her kind of exercise. Yeah, she's doing it. She's doing her part of the Straw Hat crew. Zoro cuts people, Sanji cooks. Now Nico Robin is archaeologing, and she's going through the ruins of Shandoria, and she's discovering like the history of the Shandian people. I think that's really cool. It's not really an element of a crew that you would think is necessary, but when you think about the whole history of One Piece, I think I would want someone like this on my crew, because what the hell happened with some of these, this society, this structure, this time period. So you get to see a little bit of that with Nico Robin in this arc, and you really see it at this point starting off. But around this time is when the Shandian people also say, we're going for the city of gold as well. We are attacking Eneru. We will destroy him. This is our time. This is our time. We're gonna. I mean, these guys they go in with like what is it like these rollerblades? The
breath dial skateboards, the blades, yeah. Like they're cool, they're badass.
I was just about to say that was the coolest part of the whole thing.
They were because they'll do like Milky Dial, and then they'll like ride the Milky Dial like and do flips and stuff. So that's cool.
It was cool.
And I thought like as like because at this point you feel like you're a part of the crew. So like when I say we, I'm talking about like us and like the Straw Hats. I feel like we had such an advantage because when they took all of these the special dials and stuff, it almost seemed like, oh, we're OP. Like, there's no way we're gonna lose ever, regardless, because like we have such like crazy tech that no one else below us has. Because you wouldn't think anybody else had been there. I don't think they mentioned anyone.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They never mentioned that someone has been.
Yeah.
Because remember, in the previous arc, Jaya, they all thought they were crazy.
Well,
exactly.
Some people have been there, but we don't know yet. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Right. And also around this time, we actually get introduced to who the Kame is, Eneru.
Yes.
I was exposed to Eneru first through the manga. I didn't see it through the anime. So I always thought his hair, his sideburns were really long. And that's what was dangling. But then once I saw what it really was, his earlobes, that looked so freaking weird. But go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's a religious thing too.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But what did you think of Eneru when you were first introduced to him? Did you like his OP devil fruit, the rumble fruit?
The rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can go.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like it honestly, it took me by surprise because I was like, wait, so what's this? Like, what's the craziest fruit? Like, that's kind of unfair.
How do they fight that? How do they fight that?
What does anybody do against that? He's literally like pretending to be God because he can. So it almost feels like, okay, like maybe we are in a different territory of One Piece and we're literally not going to get out of this. Like, I don't think we're going to get out of this safely. And as well, it was really just I guess the whole earlobe thing and like his whole image was kind of like, wow, is this what God's supposed to be like? Because he did come off as a fraud. Like the whole thing, it came out very like scam-like.
Well, that's the thing that makes him, I think, like I don't is compelling the right word? You know, his head is huge. He's got this godlike complex. He's models
got the
himself
power to match it.
He's got the power to match it, and he models himself after a god with the earlobes and those things too going around his back. That's a religious image. It's like, that's like a piercing coming out. Yeah.
Right.
So that all his whole shtick is religious and godlike. And then I think Oda just does a really good job. So as far as just really building up, because like you said, it was like, how do you fight this guy? He starts his survival game and he's out here wrecking people with a finger. Like,
but the whole time while I was watching that, because when it was revealed that he's a devil fruit user and has the rumble fruit the whole time, and I think I wrote it in our chat while I was watching it. I was like,
don't wait, save it. Because that's my whole point is, I mean, we'll get there. He builds it up so well that you forget. Like, that's
what?
That's the gag you're talking about.
We're gonna touch on that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We're gonna touch on that. But going back to him, he's picking off some of these guys one by one during his survival game.
Yes.
Right. And this is where this is during the time when I was so gullible into believing that these people cannot survive certain things, because how many volts is he putting in through these people's bodies? I'm sorry, 10 million volt body.
Listen. If hell can survive if hell can survive a nuke, nothing's off limits.
Listen, during this time in One Piece, whenever Eneru would attack these people, I would say that person's dead. They're dead.
They look dead.
They're cooked. They're cooked. I mean, it goes well beyond just your blood boiling from
your skin is fried.
You're gone. You're evaporated. 10 million's the lowest one he does. He just keeps increasing it. But again, it's to show how OP this guy is. He moves as quick as lightning. He can emit so many million volts of electricity through his body And that's what makes him almost indestructible. So I am with Kame Chris on this, where when I was first initially reading this, because you start thinking from the thought of, well, with Logia users in Alabasta, that was the first Logia user that Luffy ever had to really fight 1v1. It turns out it was somewhat of a gimmicky devil fruit, because you just need water. You just need water, and to make the guy wet, and then you could finally punch him, or have sweat. I could punch you with my sweat, and then you could lay a blow on him. But now you're starting to get into a territory where it's like, how do you touch lightning? How do you touch lightning? What's the gimmick? What are you guys gonna do? So, and again, we're gonna get into it towards the big reveal, right? With the final matchup. But I was sucked in to that part of the story because Oda did a very good job. Everyone was struggling against this guy. They couldn't touch him. They didn't know where he was whenever he would disappear. And he would just go all over the place.
Well, and his mantra was so good. He knew where you were at
the whole
moment.
Country. He surveyed
country.
the whole country of Skypiea. That's how powerful his mantra was. And it's
almost like,
insane.
You know what? I feel like I'm jumping with, because I was going to say, it's almost like he was already woken. That makes sense.
Maybe.
What, like devil fruit awakened?
Well,
Yeah.
no, hockey.
Well, I don't know about devil fruit.
But maybe his hockey was peak.
Hockey was peak because
it has to be genetic as far as observation goes, because Isa, we haven't talked about her.
Which one's Isa?
She's the little Shandian girl.
Oh, they call her. Wait, how do you spell it?
Aisha.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's how they spell it. I was calling her Asa.
It's okay. But you know, her mantra, she's telling people what's going on in Upper Yard. She's like, we lost another one. There goes this person.
Their voices, I can't hear them anymore.
Exactly. But yeah, they do. You need a conversion chart for those voltages. I'm thinking that's you getting struck by lightning, but it's like the least powerful lightning, I guess. I don't know.
Listen, these guys got cooked.
I agree. I don't know how they got up.
Because they got up, that was where my mind was, where I'm like, okay, Oda doesn't kill anyone. Oda, and the thing is, it's not like he's hurting them. It's built up as a death. You know, you have that one guy with the mohawk. That's part of Wiper's gang.
Yes. I forget his name.
It's not Rocky.
Kimikari or something.
Kimikari, something like that.
Yeah.
This guy has a moment where it's like, before Eneru kills him, he's like, Wiper, run! He's gonna kill us all! And then, boom! He just, I think he does the bird one, where it's like he hits one of his gongs, and out comes like a bird, an electricity bird, and it just runs right through with the guy. Actually, wait, no, that was Wiper. That was Wiper later on. Anyways, they're all getting killed. They're all getting
murked. But he's not the only one out here though doing work. You know.
Right. We get Wiper meeting up with Luffy. He kind of bumps into Luffy, right, at first.
Well, he took out Wiper did take out one of the priests, the one who wrecked Chopper.
The bird,
then he runs into Luffy, and Luffy is lost. Again, One Piece is a comedy. Luffy's singing this stupid song, walking through the forest. He's like, I'm looking for the bell, and it's gonna be big and gold. And Wiper sees him, and he's like, you. And he's like,
I somewhat hated Wiper because of this. Because, like, he's such a character, like, so focused and so angry over, like, what he's doing. He doesn't recognize Luffy's a dumbass that's just walking through the forest. He doesn't. He sees Luffy singing that dumb song that you said, and he's like, I gotta kill this guy.
I guess he takes it as an insult, because he's like, here they are having a war over their land, and this dude's just walking about without a care in the world. It's funny because they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum of what's going on. It's the one who cares the most about the conflict and the one who could care least about the conflict. And so he's I'm insulted. Yeah, he's like, I'm insulted. Like,
how dare
this
you?
is disrespectful. So they have a skirmish. It was cool.
It was it was quite brief. But also before that, Wiper had the reject dial that he used
did.
on that vassal.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's empty. And again, this is where Oda he's kind of losing me with how these things hurt. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, reject dial did so much damage to
15
your body.
times the damage back to you.
Wiper, how are you still standing?
Don't worry, I got like 2 left in me. He's grabbing. This man uses this thing that is supposed to kill you with 1 use. He uses it like 5 times.
Right.
5 times. And mind you, you see how painful it is when he's using it. But it's like, Oda, give me some leeway. How do I understand this? These guys are surviving this stuff when you say it kills them.
It's as Nino said before, it's the willpower to see your dream through.
The will.
He wants his holy land, not his holy land. He wants his people's land back, and his will will overcome a reject dial 4 times or 5.
4 to 5 times. Goodness gracious. So we have reject. Oh, and then Luffy and them have their little skirmish, and Luffy falls into. Well, he gets eaten by
the master of the sky.
The master of the sky, unknowingly. We think he falls into a cave, and we're led to believe it's a cave for quite some time. But then when you realize Luffy can't find his way out, it's like, well, what's really going on here? This is a cave. There's gold in here. And it's funny because the person that is least interested in the conflict, he's the first one to find the gold.
Right.
Or at least parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Luffy becomes MIA for a good portion.
The whole portion.
That was like the whole thing.
It was the whole thing. And again, once we get to the final fight, I'm going to tell you why it was so convincing to just forget that how the matchup was going to be. But
yeah,
we got other fights going on, right?
Left field. Came out of left field.
I'm telling you. We have Chopper and Robin and Zoro. They're kind of going off, right? Doing their own thing as well. They all get separated. Zoro's being Zoro. He gets lost. He's like, oh, the right way is to go right. So I'm going to go right. And he just goes right. I think Luffy got lost because he said, I know we had to head south. Yes. So I'm going to head in the direction that's the warmest.
Yes.
I love this. I love this dynamic. So yeah, Zoro, he matches up with one of Wiper's gangs.
Right. He first fights a Shandian, and
the guy with the beanie, right?
Yes.
Like a beanie. Okay.
Yes, and he has 2 revolvers, and he's using like milky dials. I'm pretty sure to get like close to shoot him. And he does the 36-pound Phoenix.
Was it in this fight?
Yes, this is he does it like twice in this arc. He does it against this guy. He does the
later one.
He does the later one, the 3 sword style. This one was just 1 sword style, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. And then his other fight comes later. Chopper runs into a priest, Gidatsu. This one.
What's his little silliness? He forgets random facts about.
Is that the thing?
Yeah, if he knows you have to blink, he forgets to blink, so his eyes become dry. Or he'll or like when he bites his bottom lip, he starts going and then they say, Gidatsu, you have to open your mouth to speak. And he's like, oh, you're right.
This is so stupid. Like, why is there a person like this? But it's hilarious. It's so funny.
It's really silly and a perfect matchup for Chopper.
Well, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that's a perfect matchup for him because this is someone in a way that's kind of toned down for someone like Chopper. Because it's like you said, he's the silliest out of all of them. I think even Satori or Hitori was a little bit more serious. He was a bit of a goofball in his own way.
Yeah, but he was doing damage. He did an impact dial to their face, you know?
Exactly.
Right.
Busted them in.
But, you know, Chopper, this was good for Chopper because, you know, previously he was scared and worried about the ship. And then he realizes he doesn't want to have to be protected. He wants to be able to protect his friends and whatnot.
Right.
And so he steps up against this dude. Swamp. Again, I just watched these.
What do they call it?
Swamp Burger.
Okay, yeah, they call it Swamp Burger too.
It
sounds yummy. It sounds
no,
yummy.
it does not.
Yes, it does. It's a burger.
Sounds like something Shrek is gonna eat. No, and it's purple. No.
Oh, it's purple.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
wow,
purple.
they didn't color it in the manga. Interesting.
Yes, it's purple.
Almost like in manga. It's black and white.
Who would have thought?
But yes, Chopper steps up and he defeats this guy. Oh my gosh. And I guess now that you said that, he forgets things. Like Chopper sends him, like hits him so hard that he gets stuck in his own swamp burger.
Right.
But the whole thing about a swamp burger is that you sink. And below the white sea is you know, the next one. And then eventually the blue sea. So he's like,
right.
I'll just swim down to get out of here.
And that he does.
And then he ends up in Alabasta in the side story.
Right.
Oh, is that where he
landed?
up?
He lands somewhere. Yeah.
And
I know he lands somewhere. I just forgot where he. I know he lands like in an island, and he's helping this random little old dude like help him. But I didn't remember where he ultimately ended up.
Yeah, he's apparently ends up in Alabasta, and apparently he's Koza's uncle.
No way. Really?
What?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Okay.
I mean, I'll look that up later. But points for Chopper for stepping up. Robin has her first fight. And it was a cool fight because she's we forgot to mention Eneru sent out the Divine Squad, who are Gonfal's former subordinates.
They're the 50 soldiers.
Right. And she runs into the leader of the Divine Squad, and he's disrespecting the ruins. And so she takes that personal. And it's funny watching that fight. She's losing at first, but then you realize she was trying to move him away from the ruins before she decides to wreck him. So clutch, yeah.
And you know
that's death, man. That is death. I'm sorry.
Robin kills a lot of people in One Piece.
He might be alive.
What? You're snapping the spine.
Yeah, when you hear
you're snapping someone like a sandwich.
She's paralyzing them. I don't know what to tell you.
That's even worse.
I'd rather get my teeth kicked in by Sanji, by Luffy, than what Robin does to these people. This just sounds so much. And this is a very. I think this is the only one-on-one that Robin has. It is
until Wano.
Wano.
She might have one in Dressrosa.
This was her first one-on-one.
This is her first one-on-one
after the crew. After joining the crew, I want to say she had one in Dressrosa. I'm pretty sure she did.
I mean, I'll look it up.
I think it was a 2v1. I don't think it was a.
I'll need to go back.
Yeah. I will say this: when she did have her fight in Wano, we're getting ahead. They did say this was Robin's first like solo in a very long time.
Right.
Like yeah.
Right.
But
I'm just saying,
she's powerful. Yeah. She's powerful. She can handle her own.
She can.
I kind of forgot what's Nami doing in all this.
She's with Gonfal on the ship. The Going
that's
Merry.
the brothers.
The brothers show up and
because Eneru shows up first to
puts out Usopp and Sanji. They're done for the rest of the time.
How are they gonna beat him? Again, my question: how are they gonna beat him?
Mm-hmm. Is this the famous Sanji line where he's like, "Thanks for giving me a light," or is that later?
That's later.
That's later.
I like that. I like that line. That's later. But no, Eneru just fries them completely. One shots them, and he basically wants to tell Gonfor, I'm just letting you know, I have no more use for Skypiea, so peace out.
Blow it up.
I'm gonna blow it up. And then he leaves. So that's when the brothers come in, of Satori. And
they're just annoying. I dislike them so much.
Oh, what was it? They each had a gimmick, but they would lie about which one was which.
Yeah, they would have dials on their hands, and the dials would do different things. I think one of them like was farting, like one of them was like a gag. It was a literal gag.
Oh, right.
But then another one was like a fire or a sword. I mean, they were just dumb. I'm glad Nami kicked their ass.
Yeah,
and
really, I really do think that they're like probably one of the weakest parts of Skypiea. I really don't like them. I think their design is stupid. I think me remembering them is stupid.
It's very quick. Nami uses his impact.
3 episodes of the anime is not quick, Grandmaster.
They did not take 3 episodes to beat those two.
You're right. They took 5.
It took 3 chapters.
It took 1 episode to beat them.
No way.
Yes, way.
I remember them overstaying their welcome in my mind.
No, I'm telling you, it was 1 episode. Nami uses the cyclone tempo, and bam, it was it.
And damn, but then that's 3 chapters. That's 3 weeks. Well, Satori brothers. That's
me guessing. It might have been less than 3 chapters. At most 3 chapters.
I'm pretty sure it was 1 episode. And I'll stand by that.
That's the biggest critique I'll give. Like the Satori brothers are just no. I'd never want to see them again in One Piece ever.
I'm sure you probably won't, to be honest.
Well, at least followed up by the Satori brothers, Nino's favorite group of villains in Skypiea. We get Ohm. He's probably one of the cooler vassals. I mean, I liked him. He was my favorite out of all of them.
I think he has again, there's God, it's a comedy. They got some of them that have the dumbest gimmicks. He's a dog trainer.
It's a dog. Yeah, it's a dog. The dog is giant, and the dog even doesn't just listen to him. It listens to anyone.
He listens to anyone.
And it's funny because like it's not like he just trained the dog. He trained the dog to kick ass, so the dog can punch and kick and do like martial arts. It's silliness, but Ohm is all serious, right? At first, Chopper's the one that bumps into him first.
Yeah.
And Chopper, I mean, he slices Chopper in half with his cloud sword. Sad face. But then Zoro comes in and he's pissed. He's angry. How dare you? So we get a 1v. Well, I really like there's two panel shots that I really like in this arc. The first one is in this part. It's when you have Ohm, Zoro, Gonfor, and Wiper, and they're all like they all meet at this moment. It's like each person represents a different story element, a different faction that is going for something different in the arc.
You forgot somebody.
Who else was in that part?
The snake is in there.
The snake.
Nola.
Yes.
Nola's in there. Yeah.
I love that. I just love because it was chaos. It was pure. It was basically a free for all in that one little area. Everyone was out gonna get everyone was gonna get each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that I enjoyed that bit. But what that was the part where Zoro, like you said, he does his 100-pound Phoenix.
He just 3 sword style, whatever. 3 sword. Yeah, because he did 1 sword style first. Yeah.
Right.
And then he tells the dog to knock himself out.
No. The dog was gonna attack him, I think, and he said, "Wait," and the dog stopped.
And then he's like, "You listen to anybody, huh?
Knock yourself out."
Right.
Okay. So these fights were enjoyable. I like the Kame vassal fights. And I feel like it culminated in a cool fight with Zoro. Any fight with Zoro is really cool. So he bites the big one with Ohm. And at this point we kind of transition into what Eneru's big game is, right? This is where I kind of get lost as to how certain characters get their way here. I think, how did Nami get her way with Eneru?
So Nami runs into Isa, and because Isa's over here trying to like stop whatever or something, and then they too get swallowed by the snake.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Gonfall and Pierre, they all get swallowed by the snake. They're all inside the snake.
Got it.
So that's how they got there. Robin was there. Well, Robin found more of the ruins. She went under the cloud.
Okay.
She found more of the ruins. So, and then that's where they all are, right? They're all under. No, Robin.
Well, Robin didn't get eaten.
No. I'm saying, but she like found it underneath, and then she went back up, and then Zoro's already up there.
Because there was the beanstalk thing, right?
Yeah, Giant Jack, the beanstalk. Okay. So she discovered the whole city below the cloud. Okay. And then I think then she had a conversation with Eneru, and then they went back up, and then it's Robin, Wiper, Zoro, and what happens is they're about to escape the snake finally. So Nami has the waiver, and Luffy's holding on to Isa, and he's like, "Go, Nami, go!" And he's holding on to the jet part of it. And so the moment she revs it and goes, they fall back. He gets
blasted away.
So they're still in the snake. Nami's out, Gon falls out, and it's basically, he's like, there are 6 humans left and 2 animals. And then he zaps the snake. So now the snake is out. And Pierre goes back in to go get them. And so from here, yeah, Eneru, he's blabbing his plan, he's gloating, and then he's like just taking them out. He's like, Gonfall, like, you sucked as a god. Like, you see a little bit of their flashback, and no, Gonfall was a benevolent god, but he lacked the power to defeat him.
Wait, was he a benevolent god? That's not the point of the story.
Well, that's the thing about the
story. He tried to make peace.
He did try to make peace because he tried to establish that we are fighting. I should not be going ahead and doing my ancestors' will. Why can't I give these people back their land?
But he never did. He still called himself God. He still lived in his little palace.
It's complicated because he went and the negotiations broke through because
Wiper's so mad.
Honestly, yeah, because Wiper's mad because Gonfall says, "I really like your pumpkin juice."
Why did he say that?
I don't know why he said that.
I thought there was gonna be a tie back to that because I'm like, why did you say that?
It's to give character. Just like why in Yu Yu Hakusho, the whatever brother, what's his big guy's name?
The Toguro brothers?
Yeah, the older or the younger Toguro brother, he was like, "I'll have an orange juice." And then he drinks the orange juice and he laughs. It's just to add character.
Sure.
Viper wanted to punch him when he said that. What did you say to me?
But it's just again, we'll get to it near the end once all the pieces are laid out on the board. But Gonfall was not a benevolent ruler.
Benevolent compared to Eneru.
Well, compared to anyone else before him, because we kind of see it in the flashback before. They were going on a conquest to like claim that entire piece of land. And at least, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Gonfall was at least trying to be like, hey, can we get along? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not the point of the story.
The thing is, they've been fighting Eneru for 6 years. Gonfall has not been God for 6 years, so he probably would have saw it through. But yes, Eneru takes out everybody: Zoro, Robin, Gonfall, and Wiper. They're all done. Like literally.
And wait, but Wiper has you forgot that Wiper almost takes out. And
he does.
That part was cool. I like that.
Well, so not only that,
he's able to hold him
because he used I think he had sea stone on his skates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they made a
Yes.
sea prism, sea stone, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Stones, yes.
And so then he blasts him with the reject. With the moment he steps off of him, he uses his electricity to restart
Insanity.
his heart.
That is.
And when you think
insanity.
about it, is that this is not the first time that a character restarts their own heart.
Wait, who else?
Oh, you're not caught up, are you, Dr. Jace?
This is foreshadowing. You said this is not the first time, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Damn. You're right.
Yeah, what?
I mean, this won't be the last time. That's what I meant. I got
Oh.
first and last confused. This
Okay.
won't be the last time that someone restarts their heart.
Goodness.
Sure.
Goodness. But yes, Wiper had a moment. He had a moment where obviously Oda was not gonna have Wiper be the one to take out Eneru, but still, it was a moment where you're like, Eneru was put in a position where you did not see him in throughout the entirety of this arc. He was sure of himself. He was cocky. He was arrogant. And in this one instance, he's like, "What are you doing, Wiper? Wiper, stop!" And then
He was scared. He showed he's
scared.
mortal.
Exactly. He is not as benevolent as he thinks he is. So he gets blasted with reject, massages his heart, comes back to life. This is the part I was talking about. Eneru hits his gongs, the gongs on his back, sends a 200 million volt bird running right through Wiper. Mind you, use the reject dial 5 times, 200 million volt electricity running through him. Just bandage it up. You're fine. You'll walk in a couple days. You're okay. I love
Obviously,
One Piece.
these moves are exaggerated. They're named these things, but they're exaggerated.
Of course.
2 million volt Vari is actually 2 volt Vari.
Stop. Stop.
I don't know. I'm just trying to give reason. So yeah, then he's like, I got the Arc Maxim. We're going to fly out of here. I'm going to drop Skypiea back to the Blue Sea.
And Nami's so afraid.
She is.
She
I mean,
goes-
rightfully so.
She's just like, how am I going to get out of this?
And credit to Nami, she may be a coward at times, but she is thinking and calculating the whole time. She knows she can't take him one-on-one. You know, she has to find another way. So she's like, I'll go with you. I wanna see your new world.
And she even says, I want to bring the waiver with me. And it's for an escape so that she can, the second she finds an opening, she can leave. Because I see a lot of people give crap to Nami during this sequence in the arc. And it's like, what did you want her to do?
She literally couldn't do anything.
She
Literally the
wanted
most powerful characters got one-shotted. Like,
They
sorry.
They wanted Nami to unlock her Conqueror's hockey and
Oh,
then
right.
punch Enel to death. That's
Use cloud tempo, trap him in a cloud. He's made of lightning. That's right. She could have. Who knows? Which is really weird. I mean, I don't know. You never know what Nami could have done with some cloud tempo magic against a guy
She
that's
wouldn't have
lightning.
done much.
You know,
I'm sorry.
funny enough, if we ever do see him again, maybe she could go toe to toe with him, and that would
No
be
way we're seeing Enel
a
again.
nice
No
little.
way.
I'm just saying, it'd be a nice little full circle moment, you know,
It would be a nice full circle moment.
because she
Yeah.
definitely has more firepower than before.
She does.
Okay, but no one. It's hard. It's hard to rank where Enel stands in against us. We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna.
No,
get
yeah,
into
we're not gonna get into it. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
thematically. So then they go. They're starting. He powers the Maxim. It's electricity powered.
This is what he was
the-
building for 6 years.
Correct. The Divine Squad was building this for 6 years to enact this plan. And he's gonna go get Endless Verth. Meanwhile,
Which we don't even know what that means yet. We don't know what he means by that. What's endless birth? What do you
he
mean?
thinks it's
Endless what?
Verth.
Birth.
He thinks it's
I
like
call it Vars. I call it Vars.
he thinks it's
Holy
heaven,
Land.
essentially.
Yeah, he wants to ascend.
It's paradise,
to
yeah.
another plane.
Right. But as to what that physically is, we
It's
don't
not-
know what
I don't
he's-
think there is Endless Verth.
No, there is. He
There
he
is,
goes
there
to it
is.
at the end. At the end
Yeah,
of this
but
arc.
what do you call it?
But we don't know.
it's such a gag when it's revealed.
It's a gag because
Endless Verth, he got to it.
He's on his way to Endless Verth at the end of this arc, and he gets to Endless
Oh,
Verth.
the gag. The gag. Okay.
Right. But at this point in the story, we don't know what Endless Verth is. He's just saying
what he's referring to.
Right. He's just saying, I'm going to get to Endless Verth, the ultimate Holy Land, and whatever the hell that means. We're like, all right, I guess he's going to fly somewhere with his arc. And that's where he's going. But before this bad boy can take off, we got the matchup. Monkey D. Luffy.
He finally escapes. And he's like, Isa, where is he? And Chief uses mantra and says, he's over there. Go get him.
And his clothes are digested. That's how long he's been in the snake. They're falling apart. And he goes 1v1 against Eneru real quick.
Wait, well, we're not gonna. Enel is so cocky that he just shoots him, and they're like, "Oh, I missed."
Right.
I missed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
not only does he shoot him, he does
he
like
jumps.
a big. He does. I think he does Thor.
He does L Thor. He does L Thor. Get out of here! Boom. Luffy took it as soon as Luffy came out unscathed. That's when it clicked to me. I was, oh my god!
But it's better because, like Nino said, they thought he dodged it first.
They thought he dodged it.
He didn't dodge it.
It's the face he's making too. He's kind of like puckering his mouth, like, what happened? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's like he's getting hit by wind. He's like, ah!
It's funny.
And then Nami over here again, because Nami's like the smartest one. She's like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of it before?
And then Eno's face was literally priceless.
That was the second image I was talking about.
Nino's background.
Yes.
That
image of shock that NL had, where he's like...
It's funny because it makes sense. They don't have rubber in the Sky Islands.
It's not a heavenly material. It does not grow naturally. And it's funny because I think someone even says it, like they say he's made of rubber, and Enel hears that and he's like, what the hell is rubber?
Yeah, he says, what's rubber? Right.
Which is hilarious. Now, from a writing perspective from Oda, this was genius. Like as a child reading this, because like what we were saying earlier, Luffy's MIA through this entire battle for X amount of chapters. It didn't click with, at least for me as a kid reading this, it didn't click to me because I don't see Luffy really doing anything in any fights. It doesn't click to me early on. Luffy's made of rubber. His attacks are not going to affect him.
He's made of rubber. How did that happen?
Yo ho ho! He took a bite of gum. But he comes back.
One episode where we don't reference 4Kids.
We will always reference 4Kids.
Always, yeah.
Actually, you know what? Probably Enies Lobby is where we'll stop. Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. That's a maybe. We only reference it here because this was the arc that they didn't adapt. They didn't dub it. You got to mention that.
Yes.
But Enel cannot land a hit on him, or at least his lightning attacks are ineffective against Luffy. And there are some of these impact shots that Luffy's landing on him. They were so satisfying to see. Enel's contorted face, the blood he was spewing out when Luffy punched him in the stomach or the face. I loved it. It was so satisfying seeing this guy get wrecked.
I do have like a little critique about the fight though. So as far as continuity, like I hate that I jump sometimes and like bring up like hockey and stuff, but it does because I feel like we're not going to bring him up again, so I might as well just bring it up now. But like for him to have such a crazy power and control all these people, you would think he would have a bit better defense against like Luffy's punches, like through anything, like because his lightning doesn't work doesn't mean hockey doesn't work. Like, so I think that was one of the things that later on I was thinking about. I'm like, how can such an OP character not even know about that and be called a god all the way in the sky? But makes like the continuity of that confused me just a little bit.
But that's the whole point of, I think, One Piece, because as recently we've seen, people rely on devil fruits in this world, and really what gets people to a high status is not their devil fruit, it's their hockey. But Enel like couldn't make it in the world down there, and so he went and terrorized a city up in the sky because he could.
But you also got to think about it like this too. This man has such a godlike complex.
This is what I was thinking.
And he never thought to make up a defense. He
thought he was untouchable.
Exactly. He never thought there would be his opposite that could hurt him. So he doesn't build up his defense. He doesn't learn armament hockey, because other Logia users wouldn't be touched by rubber, even if it was the natural, opposite to it. So it just speaks to his hubris. That's his hubris. It was his ultimate downfall. Because literally in this fight, he says, after he puts the gold ball on Luffy's hand, he literally says, "I don't think I could have took another punch from you."
Oh, he did.
He says that, right? He
kind of switches his game plan a little bit. Instead of using electricity attacks, he starts doing a little bit of physical ones. He gets that bow staff. I don't know what they call it in the anime, but he called it Luminous Forge. Where I'm not sure what they called it. It's the one where he like molds the gold to whatever he wants. And that seems to work on Luffy, because at least from there it's like, okay, well, I'm not using electricity anymore, but I'm still kicking your ass in a way with like this highly heated dents of metal that is like a trident, and he can't dodge it half the time. And then of course, like what you said, at one point, before the ball bit, it's funny because again, we kind of see Oda playing around with certain things that he'll introduce later on in the story in the manga.
Come on, did you catch this too?
What?
Wait, okay, go ahead, finish. Let me see.
Wait, what? The gum space out?
Okay, that's a thing. No, I think I saw something else, and y'all are probably gonna disagree. I don't know.
What? Go ahead. We'll see.
No, but the space out was good too. That was good too.
Like Nino's background.
He said, yes. Turning off my brain.
But it worked.
It did work, but he couldn't go on the offensive with it.
Exactly. He can't.
But no, I was gonna say, so he can't touch him, right? Because he's predicting all his moves.
Right.
He turns around and starts hitting that golden door or something.
Yeah.
And the gap, off. It starts ricocheting and bouncing off to where you don't know where it's gonna land.
Right.
Is that early Snake Man?
No.
Could be.
Come on.
It's not early.
There's a lot of snake elements in this thing. I think it's early Snake Man.
I think it's early Snake Man.
Well, okay. When you say early Snake Man, do you mean like Oda had an idea of Snake Man at this point?
I think
maybe he had like an idea of like, wouldn't it be cool if Luffy could do that technique?
And then he says, has Luffy done this before, or has Luffy built up to this point? And he refers to that, because that's essentially Snake Man.
I mean, I don't know. I can see it, but at the same time, I feel like it's a Gomu Gomu no stretch.
Speak to his genius.
I do. I referenced this scene, and everyone except Kame and Chris recognized it. The party scene.
I think there's some genius here.
It was a cool move. I liked it. I liked it. It was silly, and it worked. It actually hit Eneru. Mm-hmm. But finally, Eneru was like, enough of this. I cannot take this man. He does Luminous Forge, and he takes a piece of the gold and forges it onto Luffy's arm like a ball. It's basically an anchor. And at that point, now I'm really wondering, well, how the hell is Luffy gonna get back up there? Because Eneru kicks him off. He goes flying back down. And I'm like, I don't realistically, I don't see a way of him coming back. And this man is just running up the beanstalk repeatedly, just running, hopefully trying to catch up to the arc. And eventually he does. But I think it was around this time we get a bit of a flashback to get some.
We do, yeah.
To get some insight.
Can we talk about the flashback? I think after, because the fight flows. I think this is a critique I have of Skypiea.
Oh, you don't like when the flashback happens at this point?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it felt like Oda was like, they're not gonna get why, all of this is important, and then he included it in like the middle of the final fight, and it kind of dragged on for me.
I mean, they've done this before though, of like throwing flashbacks in the.
They have, but
I guess not this long.
Yeah, they haven't done it as. They didn't do it as well here.
I mean, I don't know how long it is chapter wise. It was 3 episodes, the flashback.
For the manga?
That's in the middle of a final fight.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little weirdly placed.
And even then the final fight was very long. The
final fight was paused in a way. Because he kicked him off the ship, and now it's like, well, now I got to get back up there. How am I going to get back up there?
Yeah, and then there's so much that happens. It just feels like a very weird place to have a flashback. Like a very weird.
It's weird. I mean, it's difficult because you get one piece of the puzzle in Jaya.
Roll credits.
Huh? Oh, one piece of the.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. So you get one piece of the puzzle in Jaya, right? And the other piece of the puzzle is the Shandians, and they could have done it earlier. I don't know. I
think I would have liked it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably not just in the middle of the fight, but it still works for me because it's Wiper seeing Luffy's determination to ring the bell, and that's his goal. He
doesn't care about being
ring.
This guy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just wish there was a better way they could have braided it better into the story, I think.
No, I agree. It's not perfect, but
yeah.
For me, it only works when they do the zoom in on like Wiper's face, and just kind of makes him like just take it all in.
And it also is the reason like why when at the end of the fight when Luffy, can I just say it?
Oh, well, let's say so he's running up the beanstalk, but it goes straight up. The arc is like to the right. How do they get the beanstalk? What do they do?
They have to cut down the beanstalk.
So miraculously, Sanji and Usopp rescue Nami. They get her off.
Right. But they have that scene, that little scene.
It was funny.
It was cool. I needed a light.
Oh, when Sanji got blasted, right?
When he got blasted, and he's like, I just needed a light for my cigarette. Cool.
Oh, and Usopp's most terrible things that he's like, Nami, cover your ears. Once I do this technique.
A piece of paper running between your fingers for a paper cut. And then Eneru's looking at him. He's not saying anything. And Nami's like, ow. And Usopp looks at her and says, Nami, cover your ears. Do you want to die? He's just saying dumb stuff. Like he's describing actions that are painful, but they're just stupid. That was funny. I like their little spat with Usopp and Sanji versus Eneru round.
Yes.
It was cool.
Yes. So they get off the Maxim. Everybody else miraculously wakes up. So they realize Luffy's trying to go. Well, Luffy also thinks Nami's still up there, so that's also why he's running back up there.
Right.
So either way, they know he's not going to stop. So Zoro cuts part of the giant jack to make it lean in the direction they need, and then Wiper finishes it off with another reject dial.
Correct. As Nami's going up there with carrying
with the waiver, right? Mm-hmm.
Right. And that just gives it, a bit of an angle so that he can land. Well, not necessarily land on the arc. I think oh my god, how does it work? He's kind of going towards the bell. Is he going towards the bell at this point?
The arc is like perpendicular to the bell. Yeah. So then,
and then Nell kind of makes fun of everyone. He's like, "You'll never find the bell."
And he's like, he says he's gonna take the bell too. So it's his
right.
last little evil bit. He's like, I'm gonna take what you came all the way here for.
Right. And what's the name of
He gets it. He gets it.
He gets it
right in the head.
He gets it right in the head, but Luffy has that. I kind of like this move. It was cool. What was it?
Golden rifle.
Golden rifle.
Because rifle is like one of his stronger punches.
Yeah, he like kind of like adds some spin to it.
The spin adds torque, so when it gets hit, it moves faster.
Right.
And then there's more power due to like wind, I guess.
Exactly.
The winding up, yeah.
Right.
And he becomes like a giant thing, electric.
Yeah, it's like his final screw off attack that he thinks is enough against Luffy. It's like he becomes like an electric god essentially. Yes. And he tries attacking Luffy with it, but it's cool because wait, a little bit before that, Eneru was doing oh my god, what's the name of the technique? The thunderball in the sky.
Oh yes.
Oh my god, it was a cool name. I can't remember the name now. It's bothering me. He's doing that and he's saying, I'm gonna destroy Skypiea, and he does destroy Skypiea.
He destroys Sky Island.
Sky Island.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is
Angel Island. I'm sorry, Angel Island is the name.
This is an important part for the story. Like for thematic storytelling, it's super important because now the ruling class, we'll call them, of Skypiea has been displaced, just like
the Shandians.
The Shandians. And that's very important. Like they know the fear, they know the pain of losing their homeland for someone who wanted to like use them and conquer their belongings.
And it's taken away from them. It's destroyed. It's gone. That ain't coming back.
I was trying to look it up. I couldn't find it.
It's called something. I mean, I have the volume somewhere in another room.
Is it Raigo?
I mean, maybe in the anime they called it Raigo.
I mean, I'm looking at the wiki page.
Right.
The wiki page is the direct
Raigo.
Translation. It's Raigo.
Right.
Possible after Deathpea has been invoked. What the fuck is Deathpea?
Deathpea is the plan to destroy the sky.
Oh, right.
Oh, everything has a name in this arc.
But
everything has a name.
You talk thematically. You have to mention the flashback because Wiper only helps out because he realizes that because Robin tells him Luffy is trying to ring that bell for a descendant who said that there was a golden city on Jaya. And Wiper's like, what was and it was a really good scene. Wiper's like, what was the name of that descendant? And she's like, Mont Blanc Cricket. Right. And then he puts it together because he is the descendant of Calgara. And Calgara and Mont Blanc Nolan were friends.
They were besties.
Yes. We don't have to go into the finer details. He appears on the island, miscommunication, then they become friends. They have another.
I didn't like just to like quickly have a critique of that section. I didn't like how the more civilized
chat on the religion.
But it's also they seemed more knowledgeable.
Yeah, they really did that. They really said, you must advance in society. You must advance.
Yes.
And it just seemed, this is where my critique comes from, because like it seemed like Oda was positioning the native people to be less technologically advanced and less medicinally advanced than, and more like superstitious than the more technologically advanced people like that came to the island, but that's not how it really was in real life. Because so that's where the allegory ends for me. That's where it breaks apart. Because when you look at real life, all these native like people learned to live with the land, had medicines that worked, had technology that didn't hurt the ecosystem,
Right.
and then white people came along and ruined it. So,
Yeah, it's unfair of them to paint, because there's been plenty of instances where the natives or the indigenous group taught the colonizers more about medicinal practices than they ever knew. So it's unfair for sure. But you can have that critique, because I had the same critique, because he also came in and said, what are you doing? You can't sacrifice. What kind of God would want you to sacrifice your people? Who are you to say they are wrong for practicing their religion the way they do?
They're
may not
killing people.
Yeah, I get it, but you may not agree, but you can't just come up in here and just be like, what y'all doing is like, wrong. It felt out of it. Not out of place.
And remember, in Ethan's GrandMasterHoop's religion, you can kill people apparently, but you can't critique an MCU movie.
That's not
Consume.
Nope. Nope, those are not my pillars. Those are some. That is a King Richard adaptation. That's not the first adaptation or whatever. Either way, Wiper's emotional response I thought was really good, and I do believe their friendship, despite our critiques of it, of the just the kind of the other things going on with that flashback, was really good. And it was really sad. I
believe they were friends.
Yes, right, you can believe it. And it was sad when Nolan came back and they're not there, and Kalgara is fighting, and he's like, Nolan, will you ever hear the bell again? Like, how will you know that I'm here in the sky?
It didn't just go away.
right. So
hey, honestly, here's another reading I have of that. There's no way in hell, to me, there's no way in hell that Nolan and Kalgara aren't gay. I'm sorry.
They could be. You're right. They could be.
Like they read to me as like, they were like, we have very conflicted feelings for one another. You know what this is? This is when Mulan was dressing up as a guy, and the whatever his general's name, Shang, liked Mulan as the guy, and he was like, I'm very confused right now. That's Kalgara and Nolan.
Listen, if One Piece came out, like the first issue of One Piece came out in 2020, you might have gotten that, but
perhaps.
But no. I mean, you could say it in your head canon. You could say that.
I'm sure there's fan art.
There probably is.
Time to search it.
Oh gosh. But okay, back to the fight. He breaks through the Raigo.
He just charges it. That's smart of Luffy. I didn't know he was gonna put that together. He swings the golden ball inside of the cloud. He goes inside the Raigo, and he basically disperses all the electricity. And then he does a Gomu Gomu no golden Raifield. And then bam, he punches in a new one.
Oh, and it's funny too, because he thinks he can withstand it at first. He's like, you think you can ring that bell? And then Luffy unleashes it. He's like, it's fast.
He rings it. He rings it. And I love it at that point, because Mont Blanc Cricket does hear it. He hears it all the way down in the blue sea. And then you see the shadows, the light being cast down from Skypiea. You see a Straw Hat Boy in the clouds. I don't know. To me, the arc was perfect at that point. I really enjoyed that, like, ending to the battle right there.
Well, also too, the Shandians are happy that the bell is ringing. And
that was their whole point.
And the Skypeans too, because the bell symbolized something different for everybody. For Cricket, it was, Nolan wasn't a liar. Kalgura, it was the flames of Shandora burn bright when that bell rings, you know.
Oh, is it
And
the flames?
That's what
It-
the flames. But also
It's called
too.
the Light of Shandor in the manga.
Oh, okay. But also too, he's like, I want people to know we're here. Shandora is here in the sky. We as
We
a people are
exist.
here. And then the Skypeans, when the bell first came, it was a sign of like, you know, God. And they said the next time it would ring would be peace among Skypeans and the Shandians. And that's what
Right.
happened. So yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect. And the snake too. The snake
He
was
wanted to be-
friends with them.
That's why he was crying when he found the lost city.
Yes,
They
oh
were
my-
confused why he was crying. Like, why is he shedding tears? Well, Eneru shut him up because he's like, why is that snake crying over there? Shut up.
Yeah, he's like, I'm tired of you. I've been tired of you.
Oh my goodness. But the snake is happy. That was nice.
Also, his name is Nola.
I never realized that.
I never realized
Wow.
that either. Yeah.
Interesting, because they
Because
called him,
Nolan killed the father.
he killed the father, and then Kalgura killed. No, Nolan killed the grandfather.
Oh, the
and
grandfather.
then
Okay.
Kalgura killed the father, and then that's
Oh.
when they noticed a little snake saying, "Oh, it must be the grandson of the 1st one
Mhm.
that we killed." So that was nice. That
It
was nice.
was nice. Oh my
It
gosh.
was poetic. How dare people sleep
Oh.
on Skypiea?
Don't call it poetic. Robin says it's romantic, you know. Romance
Ah.
Dawn. And that's like that's why this
Romance
arc is so
Dawn.
good, because it's romanticism. Like Luffy is doing this so Cricket doesn't have to carry that burden of his family legacy anymore. He doesn't she puts it in the way she says it. She says he's never even met these two people, you know, Nolan and Kalgura, but he's doing all this for them and he doesn't gain anything from it.
He does not.
It's
Well,
romantic.
some gold.
I mean, the ring of the bell, no. I mean, they're getting gold, but the ring of
Yes.
the bell, yes.
It's for
and
them.
she-
It's yeah.
She calls it romantic. And I'm like, Romance Dawn. Everything about One Piece
The
is
dawn,
romantic.
the light shining on Shandora. Oh,
Yes.
it's dawn. Oh my God, it all connects.
It's beautiful.
And you know what
It
the
was-
dawn? And you know what the dawn is? The dawn is the emergence of the sun. I'm out.
Yes.
I guess. But it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful.
I make such good references, and both of you missed them.
I caught it, Kenneth. I'm sorry, but I definitely caught it, and I
Thank
get
you.
it. The
Kame Chris
The-
is the only one.
I get the reference, like wow, like in all connection into, you know, what we're doing what we're into right now, like that.
Clearly, it's so
Yeah.
obvious. Luffy rings the bell. And well, doesn't Robin do some poneglyph?
So that's during like the post celebration.
Okay, the
kind
post
of.
celebration. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because the poneglyph is on the bell.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what? Well, this is the first time really no one got knocked out by Luffy as being the final villain. Like they beat Enel, but he's not laying down unconscious to like
And you know,
be picked
yeah.
up by someone.
And you know, isn't this the first time we see a devil fruit user change like forms? That's not a Zoan type.
Yes. Like the one when he transformed to that giant thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Giant
electricity guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's more or less like a because all his things are based off of gods, like even the names and the moves that he uses. So I think it's just him manipulating the electricity to just look like you know what.
Yeah,
he's
he didn't actually
manifesting.
like transform like a
Right.
zone.
Oh.
Yeah.
like-
I mean,
so-
I'm just saying that could be proto awakening, devil fruit awakenings.
Maybe. I think he just manipulated the electricity, but
Because like my thing is like I feel like Crocodile, if he was like if he had a god complex, he would be like, look at me, I'm Zeus, and he'll make the sand like look like, I don't know, like a robe or something. Anyways, we digress. So everyone settles down. The fighting is over. Wiper just has some bandages. He's okay. Reject dial 5 times. 20 million volts of electricity. Who cares? I sleep on that. So he's fine. He's okay. And we get the poneglyph read, right? And what's the big reveal with Robin?
Poseidon.
It mentions Poseidon, or it tells you where Poseidon is?
It mentions Poseidon. So, Alabasta mentions Pluton.
Right.
This one mentions Poseidon. But then on the bell itself, someone has etched their own characters.
A certain someone that was there before.
And it reads, I think it read, "We will take this reading to Laugh-Tale."
No.
No. It didn't say Laugh-Tale.
It's referring to Laugh-Tale.
It was very vague.
If you read up on it, those I'm not quoting it. I know it doesn't say Laugh-Tale, but it's inferring Laugh-Tale. It's from go read it up on the wiki. It's right there.
You raise very controversial points, Grandmaster.
I could literally read it now, what it says.
I'm pulling it up right now. Oh wait, it says, I found it. He said something even more interesting to me. I made it here. I will guide this text to the ends of the earth. Pirate Goldie Roger.
Right. So in essence, he is referring to Laugh-Tale, but he doesn't say Laugh-Tale.
Yeah, he doesn't say it, but yes. And it's the fact that he's been there,
right.
However the hell he got up to the bell.
And B, he can write in poneglyph script.
He can write it, yes.
Look at that. This man was doing graffiti on things that he did not own nor need to put.
And even Robin was like, how the hell does he know how to write these characters?
I thought it was only my people that knew that. It was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh, Robin's, yeah, that was the whole that's the whole point of Robin's arc. It's like, how does he know? How does he know how to write like this? It makes no sense. So that's interesting, at least. And what's the ultimate end game with the Skypiea people? They decide to leave and they decide to live on Upper Yard.
Yeah, they're living on Upper Yard because he destroyed the island.
And this is where I think the message of this story is really good, because it's literally saying that until the people that are like treated as upper class and are supported by a system that puts down others, until they understand the people, like truly understand the people that have been displaced, and also understand that the system that they were living in is wrong, then they can't come to an agreement on how to move forward. Because it's only until that all of Angel Island gets blown up, and then everyone's just like, this whole God system, this really sucks. This really sucks.
You have to take it back to square one. You have to get rid of the foundations.
Clean slate. I agree. I mean, it's interesting that that's what it took to get there, but now the fighting stopped. And I think Oda was very purposeful in writing that into the story. NL is flying off to the moon. Stupid, but whatever. Endless birth. He's flying up to the moon. And when we know what he meets when he gets to the moon, based on the cover stories later on, he meets like a robotic toys up on the moon.
He meets aliens too, yeah.
He meets aliens, and it's shenanigans. Will we see Eneru back in the story at some point?
No.
I don't know.
Don't ever count anything out.
It's never out. It's never out.
That's still in the air.
I'm telling you,
I agree.
Y'all will be so shook if he comes back at any point in the story.
I think he will come back.
I think he's
I'm pretty confident he's going to come back.
If we're in the end game,
I feel like he has come back already.
If we are in
that's my point.
If we are in the end game, everything is fair game.
I agree. This man will come back and say, "You will all come with me to endless birth."
Deserves a thumb down right here. You say that he already appeared in the story.
Here we
go.
Goodbye.
But he could have. It's a possibility from things we've seen.
That's it. you get another thumbs down right there.
This man is gone. He's off to the moon to do with his shenanigans as he sees fit. And they actually reward the Straw Hats with gold. They actually get what they came there for. I honestly thought it was gonna be something dumb where like the gold gets like flung off the Sky Island or something. They're like, oh, but at least we had an adventure. No, they got money. They were broke when they went to Sky Island.
And the dollars.
Usopp walked away with some dials. Yeah.
He walked away with some dials.
But I love how they all agreed, at least in the anime, they were like, so we're going to steal this gold, right? We're pirates after all. And everyone was just like, yeah. And then the people are like, take the gold. And they're like, we're going to run.
Well, they had a giant like pillar from the Golden Bell. It was probably worth way more than what they were going to leave with. And it's funny because they were chasing them to give it to them, but they're like, look out, they're chasing us because we're stealing the gold. Run. Like, you guys are silly.
And Robin didn't tell them.
Robin knew, but she's in it for the ride. I like Robin.
She's a fun character.
She is.
You can see she's starting to enjoy them.
Exactly. And I guess one last thing that we didn't touch on, the Going Merry. Usopp noticed a little a ghostly figure out in Upper Yard. It was fixing the ship. He had no idea what that was, and it's not even addressed in this arc. He just noticed, oh wow, whatever that was, it fixed the ship to some degree. It didn't like completely fix it, but.
And while I was watching this, I was like, wow, how convenient that this happens, so that the Going Merry isn't like completely out of luck. But the way that they follow up with it in coming arcs, I think is worth the momentary convenience.
I think it's perfection. It's perfection. I love it.
I think it's best when it's so subtle that you don't really think anything of it.
I don't know what subtle's about it. If Usopp literally took a scene and was like, there was somebody fixing the ship, I don't know who it was.
Right. But you're more fixated on who it was than the ship itself. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
It went over your head,
Nino. You know what? This is another thumbs down.
You had a smooth brain moment.
It's okay. It's just they hit you. It's great storytelling, because in the coming arcs you realize this was a crew member all along. You know,
that's spoilers. Whoa.
It hurts.
Spoilers.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Well, next week we got Foxy Pirates, baby.
I've never seen it.
Well, guess what? It's time to read it. It's time to watch it. You better sit your ass down and watch yourself some Foxy Pirates. Because if I had to read that garbage, so do you.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Foxy Pirates kind of had its own merits in a way, because there are some themes in Foxy Pirates that you see parroted in the arc afterwards.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it.
Where in Water 7 does Zoro like just come out and be a racist?
Racist.
Yeah.
My God.
Yes.
Yeah, because he hates Luffy with the afro.
Did he not like him with the afro?
In the anime.
Oh yeah, they didn't really give his thoughts on the manga. I think. Listen, that's Foxy Pirates. That's Foxy Pirates. We will get to Foxy Pirates next week. Any final thoughts on Skypiea as a whole? Like, do you guys think it's an arc that you should skip? Would you recommend skipping it?
No,
I've always loved it. I've always loved it.
This is the one arc. If you're going to skip something, skip Foxy Pirates, but don't skip this one.
I will say, yes, Foxy Pirates is the most skippable arc out of all of One Piece. I say read everything, but if you just want to, if you want to throw your knife at the dartboard of what to skip in One Piece, it's gonna be Foxy Pirates. It sure as hell is not Skypiea. Skypiea is kind of long, a little bit, but it's good.
But it's
very
cool.
long.
It's probably one of the like for the time, it was probably definitely one of the coolest. Like
yeah,
it was very, like you said earlier, like it like set itself apart from the sea and like what we are used to. You know, like when you're playing a game, you get stuck in one area for like hours and hours and hours, and you like go to the outside and you're like, oh my god, I'm outside again. It kind of like gave that like feel like you got away from the regular, you know, actual Earth, and you're in the sky, and you have, you know, godlike figures and just all the innuendos and everything. It was probably the coolest arc in my opinion before Marineford. I'll say that.
No, I agree, because it's something so separate, and I can see why people might be distasteful towards Skypiea just for those same reasons as well. It's something so separated from the main story, like, because there's no world government up there, there's no warlords, there's no admirals, there's no other pirates. It's just its own little world, its own side
you could
quest.
argue, you could argue and say like it's giving celestial dragon energy, but that's another conversation.
Skypiea?
It's definitely.
I guess like what the attitude of like.
I mean the culture and like the aesthetic, everything. Like
yeah. Okay. I mean, one of the later cities is literally dubbed the Holy City.
I mean, maybe celestial dragons got it from somewhere. This godlike complex.
They
maybe
modeled it
it's based
after
on.
Skypiea.
There you go.
Ooh.
That just ties into the theory that one of the Gorosei is Ganfal's brother.
Just because he has a mustache?
Just
No.
because he looks like him.
No. Goodness.
Yeah, I'm a team. Don't skip this arc. Everything we just discussed makes this arc really worthwhile to check out. And they do things in this arc that they haven't done before. Like this dude had a whole free-for-all where the Straw Hats were fighting both sides of the conflict. You know, it's not like they were on any side. There's a lot of foreshadow that happens here that you may not think of it much, but it comes into play.
The campfire scene, the dancing scene.
Right. Just, yeah, you gotta go. You gotta do it. And it's great. You won't, it's not like you'll be dissatisfied. There's no way. Screw anybody who thinks Skypiea ain't worth it. Get them out of here.
You better read Foxy.
I will. I'll watch it. It's 13 episodes.
Next week.
Goodness.
I got it.
There you have it, folks. There's our take on Skypiea for our One Piece Chronicles pod. Next week, we're going to be deep diving Foxy Pirates. Goodness. And it's funny because we were thinking about pairing that up with Water 7, but Water 7 is its own thing. We cannot taint the glory of Water 7 with Foxy Pirates. You can't do that. So we'll deep dive as much as we can Foxy Pirates. And but there's our thoughts. Let us know what you think in the comments below, wherever you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Don't forget to check out our Discord and join the discourse on there. We're probably still talking about One Piece even as we speak on there right now. So let us know your thoughts, where you stand with Skypiea, and let us know what you want to hear about next. But with that, everyone, I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, and Supernovas Kame, Chris, and Nino signing off. Take care.